Show what they bop or you bozo. I'm the one dodging bullets in slow-mo. Little bitch, you are not at a dojo. You can't kick it here, bitch, I am Jojo.
Guys, if only we could do this in our real lives. Revisit and revise. So 2021 is next.
It's revise and visit.
From the city of God.
No, it's not.
Everybody you know
Because
is a
you have to
fraud.
revisit before
And I
you
say
revise.
just bring me a pod. I just wanted my father's applause. I just wanted my mother's applause. I just wanted these crackers' applause. So I stand on the stage with the bars. So I stand on the stage with the boys.
Welcome to Verse Chorus Verse. I am DL. With me is Sven, Medicine at Midnight Knutson. Sven,
That's you.
how are you?
Am I supposed to be honest?
I'm looking right
I'm
at
hurting.
Sven
I am hurting.
in person.
I'm hurting from
Yeah.
what this group of friends did to me last night.
Gross.
That is what she said.
What? Why did it go there?
Wow.
It's Rachel.
Because it's Rachel.
That's what Rachel
Wow.
do.
Leave it to Rachel to be the perv on this podcast.
Speaking of, there's Rachel Starcross Polio. Rachel, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Why'd you look at me like that?
I don't know. What's your face?
And then, of course, we have evil. What did I call it? Evil left ventricle Jimmy. No, evil torn arteries Jimmy. Evil, how you doing?
I'm evil good. Use less words.
Hey, everybody. Do you remember last year when we decided a bunch of things on 2021?
Mm-hmm.
We picked albums and we picked favorite songs and we picked what the fucks and we picked other shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes we were idiots.
Sometimes.
That's why we're doing this episode, to see if we were
Let's
brilliant
talk
or
about it.
dummies.
Oh, makes sense now.
It's all coming together.
Killed some brain cells the last time we did this, guys.
Yeah. Were there any surprises at all for you when you went back and looked at your lists?
Not really surprises, but the stuff on my list I haven't really listened to a whole bunch this year. And that's a recurring theme, is I'm finding that I'm mostly listening to not like necessarily new release music, but just music new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Way more this year than I ever have in my whole life.
Like because
honestly.
of the podcast?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. I looked at that list and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess those were my favorites, but I don't know because I have to re-listen to some of this stuff.
Now we're making you
Mm.
do shit you've already done.
Yeah.
Same question to you, Rachel.
Yes, I have to say I fall in the same category as Evil, where it's that I listened to that and then I put it away, and then it was all new releases from this year and then stuff that was assigned and stuff that we decided to listen to. There wasn't a whole lot of going back to 21 or listening to stuff on my own, unfortunately, this year. Maybe you should just save it for the weekends.
That's what The Weeknd is for. He's an artist. Same question. Were there any surprises?
I've always wondered how to pronounce that.
Weekend.
Yeah, no, I totally I quit listening to the Foo Fighters, and
That's not true.
Like,
That's
of
not
course,
true.
I fucking still listen to this shit. I actually forgot what my top 5 was until prepping for this, and damn, I picked some good ones.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you?
Yeah.
John Coltrane. If you don't like that, then
You're a dumb idiot.
I don't know, but we'll have a hard time being friends. Of course, I still listen to Foo Fighters too. I mean, obviously a joke. Medicine at Midnight might not be the album I go to as much anymore, though. I think I'm kind of back diving
Well, the
into the
vinyl
rest
got.
of the catalog.
Didn't you say your vinyl got stolen?
Oh my god! I don't know what happened to it.
maybe not stolen,
I
but
went
it's
to
just-
it.
it's
It
gone.
could have, but I don't know who would have.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to go
There's
missing.
not a yeah.
Are you sure your dog didn't need it?
You'd think you'd find it, at least the leftovers later when they in the yard.
Maybe they ate
but
the whole thing.
nothing.
Pooh Fighters.
That's who that is.
Sad vibes.
And of course, Olivia still listening. Zach Brown, never going away.
We've talked a lot this year about, it's kind of weird doing the quickfire reviews and listening to an album for like a week
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to give a fair assessment of it. That's the biggest reason I wanted to do these, to see when you get to sit on something for a year, if there is anything on there that you decide actually sucks. We'll get into it. First, we got to talk about the most important part of the night. We're a little quieter. We're a little calmer.
You're a little hungover.
It's like 2:30 in the afternoon and we're all still feeling it from last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sven, what are you drinking?
I'm about to start drinking a Tropic Chronic India Pale Ale. Silver City Brewing.
Hey, Silver City.
Silver City.
Woohoo.
Did I bring you that? No.
No, that's for later.
Do you got that in Boise?
I did.
Oh, wait, Silver City, Idaho.
Yeah.
I was thinking Silver City, Oregon.
No, this is from
Silver
Oregon.
City has a
Oh,
brewery?
just kidding.
Yeah, this is from Oregon.
I was going to say, that'd be
Silver
weird.
City, Idaho's a ghost town.
Yeah,
That'd
like
be
that has a
odd
brewery
place to have
now.
a brewery.
Might have times changed. Evil, what are you drinking?
I got a coffee mug of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, you
Hopefully try to dilute all the fireball that's coursing through my veins.
Oh.
I think we all smell a little bit like cinnamon right now.
Yeah.
So much Fireball. You smell like cinnamon and regret. Rachel, what are you drinking?
I have a lemon
Same
lime
fucking
Gatorade.
thing you've been drinking
Shut
for
your fucking face,
5
Liston.
hours.
I don't want alcohol ever again.
You remember when I wanted to do the finale the first night? This is why I wanted to do the finale the first night, because we're all fucking
Sven.
dead now.
What?
You helped agree with
That was
the order of operations.
So you, and you know it.
I said helped agree. You could have fought me.
You enabled this.
Exactly.
We're all here.
We still would have been doing.
We're all talking
I
about
know.
2021, going back.
gonna die.
Maybe there's even some additions that we didn't even find then. We will get to it. We're excited. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Please, God. We're excited. We are back. Let's start talking about 2021. Before we do, I have a little question for you guys. As you know, I've liked to do this weekend. What did we drink?
Wait, I'm like looking for the bottle of Fireball and
On our
I
finale
don't see it,
last
so
year.
I feel.
What did we what?
What did we drink in the finale
Fireball.
last year? That's,
Kachampaga.
that's one.
Champagna.
That's two.
There
Do you know
was
what kind of champagne?
bubbly.
Yes.
Yes. I am so smart.
I brought PBRs.
PBR.
There's PBRs.
And then there's one more.
Fireball.
McAllen.
You did it.
Wow.
We
Wow.
have.
I think the first time
memories.
we've answered correctly this.
Yeah, might be.
You
Yeah.
have to drink now.
That's pretty good. So we had breakout artists in 2021. This is the best one to do, I think, because it's been a year. I think when you choose a breakout artist, you have to give them more than a year, but it's still been a year, so you should be able to know a little bit. I picked Paris, Texas, which
Yeah,
is
you
a
did.
rap group out of Harlem. No, sorry, out of Compton. Ooh, don't do that,
Straight
dude.
out of Compton.
So they came out with a ton of shit in 2021. They are radio silent in 2022. So I can't,
Oh.
I don't have very much to say on it. I hope
Mm.
that they didn't give up and quit, because I really do. They had everything that like a young, amazing, artistic rap group should have.
Are they touring?
No, I didn't see anything. I couldn't
Hmm.
find anything that was beyond 2021. So hey, Paris, Texas, come back, please. Stop making me look like an idiot. Rachel, who'd you pick?
I had picked Little Nas X as my breakout artist.
So you and Evil actually had 3 each, but I think they were like not fake, but one major pick, and then you picked David Crosby, I think.
That's not real.
And you also said Olivia Rodrigo, but
That's probably
your
true.
like main pick was Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
What's he done this year?
He's been on tour. He released a couple singles, nothing quite as good as Montero was. I think Montero was such a fabulous debut album, and people just loved it so much that it's
His
He just had-
2021 album was his debut album?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I thought he had an album before that.
So did I.
hold on.
The Old Town Road one.
Yeah.
Montero's his only studio album.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm not a dumb idiot.
So was that just a single?
I feel really good about that.
Old Town Road was a single. I guess
Yeah,
it
that
wasn't
came
on
out in
the-
2019.
Yeah, no, he has one album.
I am so smart.
Do you still listen to him? Has he more broke?
No, he hasn't broken out more. I did go see him at ACL.
Did you see him live?
I did see him live, and he's amazing. It was exactly what I thought it would be. He's such a good performer. He's had 2 singles come out in the past year. It wasn't anything new or exciting, and so it was fine. No evolution, but it's only been a year, so.
Evil, you did kind of like a yours, mine, and the real.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But the main one that you said was Olivia Rodrigo. Like, I think
Correct.
your real answer was
Yeah,
Olivia
for sure.
Rodrigo.
Which was the right answer.
Yes. And so was yours.
Yeah, it was.
Sven, are you both following her closely?
I've checked up on
You
her.
very much like Olivia Rodrigo.
I do.
Old news.
She won some awards.
Yeah.
She got some Grammys.
What?
Oh, yeah?
Best New Artist, Best Pop Vocal Album for Sour, Best Pop Solo Performance for Driver's License.
By Michael Bublé.
Oh my goodness. Michael Bublé. Why did he have to ruin that with his cover?
He ruined everything.
Everything. He ruins everything for me.
Curses.
Um,
Bublé.
She came out with a documentary on Disney Plus,
Oh, that's right.
Driving Home to You.
Did you watch it?
I have not watched it yet. I don't get to watch documentaries very often.
She came out with a
I don't get to-
documentary.
No.
She did.
Is it just like a "This Is Me on Tour" kind of thing?
I haven't watched it yet.
Did you? Oh.
I have to fight my kids for the TV.
How old is Olivia Rodrigo?
It's okay for her to
She
do
can
certain
vote.
things because she's 18.
She can vote. She can go to war.
She can vote.
But she
she's
can't
a
have
woman.
a beer.
But she can't have a beer.
Arg.
She let's
Or
see.
rent a car.
She played the Glastonbury Festival and she performed with Lily Allen. Before she performed at the beginning of one of her songs, she dedicated to the 5 members of the Supreme Court who have showed us that, quote, at the end of the day, they truly don't give a shit about freedom. Then
Oh.
she performed Fuck You.
OMG.
What a lady.
This was, of course, this was her response
How very
after
edgy.
the 2022 overruling of Roe v. Wade.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
She's 19.
And she's now currently single after casually dating the DJ Zach Baya.
So much info. So yeah, Olivia Rodrigo is still.
She's a thing.
Let's
still
go
doing
back and let's have to pick one of these. Is it Olivia Rodrigo or is it Lil Nas X?
As a breakout artist?
If we're revisiting and revising and we have to pick one, and now that it's been a year,
I mean, now that we can look back on it and see what she's done this past year, I think Olivia.
I
Because she's
feel
done
like
stuff. I
there
mean,
is a much more clear path to growth in Olivia Rodrigo's style than
I think
that's
Lil
true.
Nas X's
Agree.
style.
Watch out for that David Crosby, though. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Man.
Coming around the bend.
We are going to do something fun here. We didn't spend, I hope, a bunch of time with it, but we're going to do a quick fire review. What we're going to do is all of us
not
had.
on your list.
You already made that joke.
Gonna keep happening.
Uh,
I don't write new material.
all of us did our 5 favorite albums of all time last year. I'm sure that not all of us listened to every album that was on each other's list, but I thought it'd be a good opportunity to be like, I should check an album out that was on somebody else's list. And so that's what we did. I, for example, picked an album that was on one of their top 5 lists, and I listened to it, and I'm just going to give a little info on it. Like I said, very, very quick review. We won't spend a lot of time on it. Just some quick thoughts. Before we do that, I've got another quiz question for you guys.
Yay!
Let the game theme music. Wow, I'm really out of it. There were 7 songs that played on the finale episodes last year.
DMX.
In the recording. Yes. Do you remember which song?
Not the popular one because you were told not to do that one.
It was a very popular song, though.
I mean, not the.
Yeah. I couldn't do Up in Her, Up in Her.
Yeah.
That's one. You guys are going to owe 6 drinks.
Yeah.
Can I give you a
We
big
will.
giant hint?
Yeah.
One of the 7 is done by an artist that is in this room.
Steve is Sven.
Steve's.
Stephen. Stephen
Good job,
Knudsen.
Steve.
7.
Yeah.
Good job, 7 Schwinn.
Knudsen.
Knudsen. That guy.
7 Knudsen.
Flagpole Sitta.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
Hysteria. Our version of Hysteria by Muse. Moontooth.
Yes, that's right.
Do you remember the other album we talked about on our Moontooth episode? It's our 2nd episode of all time.
Oh.
Was that the Big Black Delta episode? No.
Rubble Bucket.
Rubble Bucket.
That's right.
Rubble
Fucking
Bucket.
love me some
Rubble
Rubble
Bucket.
Yeah.
And then there was and then 2 songs by the Sven Knudsen.
Love his work.
And then
guy.
bonus question, we talked about the deaths. We talked about DMX, and I had one
Hennessy.
What's that?
What?
Yeah, sure. We'll say that's right. I'm realizing as I'm reading this is an impossible fucking question to answer. So I'm editing this.
Oh,
out.
read it.
What was the question?
Yeah. Now we want to know.
I feel sufficiently challenged.
I read a very, very insane stat about DMX's. It was chart related. About
Right.
DMX.
Yeah, I do
you
remember.
remember what
I
it
don't
was?
remember the numbers, but I remember you reading that.
He was the first artist ever to have 5 consecutive #1 albums.
Yep.
Oh,
Which is
would never-
insane.
It's crazy.
Not
good
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. Sven, what
the
album
streams.
did you pick to listen to that was on?
One that I'm kind of surprised wasn't on. I don't know why I didn't put this in my top 5.
Oh, intriguing.
So it's Halsey. If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. Her
Such a
4th
good one.
studio album.
In the episode, we were all very like, you need to check this out.
I did need to check this out. I wish I would have checked it out before last year's finale, but it's working out for me now because I get to talk about it. This was released August 27th, 2021. Immediately, you can tell who the producers are. Before I get to that, I guess this is an album she wrote, kind of addresses her struggle with infertility and then childbirth. And the entire theme is kind of like wishing for something and then what happens when you actually get what you want, right? Interesting journey, and it's really introspective.
Yeah.
The production is, I love the way this album sounds. It has a touch of nostalgia too.
Yeah.
So Trent Reznor, well, 9 Inch Nails, the duo, Reznor and Ross, like they put their touch on this album, and you really hear it in the intros and outros and the transitions between songs.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many times I'd be driving in my truck and I would forget that I was listening on Spotify on my phone, because like there's times where it sounds like interference, like UF interference with an antenna, and there were so many times I'm like checking my truck's radio and then remembering like, oh no, it's just a fucking part of the song. I was listening to it on the way up here this weekend, and there were so many times I was so scared there was something wrong with my truck because of like the sounds that happen in the album. So sonically, it's this fantastic journey that it tells its own story. Sorry, this is not a very quick fire.
That's
but
good. No, how dare you do more
a
work
long the album starts out
so
like
lazy.
that creepy piano, which totally reminds me of 9 Inch Nails' Hurt, right?
Yep.
It has several build-in releases. It's just beautiful the way that it rides up and down. In my notes I wrote, the album swells with electronic particles and glitter made from shards of glass.
That's beautiful.
Damn, Gina.
Her song Whispers is very introspective. She criticizes her own thoughts. You feel like you can kind of be part of the conversation that's happening in her head with her struggle, her own thoughts.
Your revisit of this album that we had talked about last year is making me want to revisit the album now.
Yeah. What's the thing about the quickfires is most of the quickfire albums that I've done, I want to go back and listen to a lot of that stuff, but I'm on to the next thing. So it's like, I think I need to keep better notes in this next season so I can be like, come back to this, and because there's something here that needs to be explored further.
I picked Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
Ooh.
I'm excited to hear
I was so excited when you read that off. You don't get big jazz releases anymore. We have a lot of jazz friends on the pod, and we're gonna talk a lot of jazz next year because we've got Carrie coming back on, we've got Emily Braden coming back on.
Ugh.
We've got a couple other jazz artists that are gonna come on that are all doing new releases. But for those of you that aren't huge jazz heads, Love Supreme is considered like one of the great jazz albums. It was considered like Coltrane's most, did you say experimental?
You can hear a lot of the influence from some of the other musicians he'd been working with at the time, right?
Yeah.
Especially some of the fusion stuff.
So in Seattle, he basically did a live, the whole album live. But in true jazz fashion, it's... If you listen to A Love Supreme and then you listen to this album, if you didn't know the titles, there's no way that you would think it was the same fucking thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The improvisation,
It's twice as long.
It's jazz.
Supreme jazz people doing supreme jazz things. And because of that, I do think, we always talk about there's jazz that's super accessible. Mm-hmm. Or like if you're trying to get into jazz, you start with this, you start with this. This is like level 8 out of 10.
It's the jazziest jazz that ever jazzed.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's the type of jazz that I think if I was sitting in the club, I'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, you guys. Like, can you play for us a little bit? You know what I mean?
It's jazz music for jazz musicians.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And but there's stuff that's really, really warm and likable about it. And you can tell that the sound recording is really poorly set up recording wise. I think they have like
probably just sharing a couple mics or
two mics and
I think I looked it up at one point how they mic'd
it's muddled. Sometimes you can barely hear what Coltrane's even doing.
Yeah.
But it's great jazz in that when it does hit, there are parts in every song where your hair blows back and you're like, that's one of the greatest musical things that's ever been done. Them ending it with Psalm, it's one of the most beautiful. It's just so fucking beautiful. It's an amazing piece of work. And it's honestly so over my head. It really is. I've listened to jazz for a long time, but holy fuck. If you aren't in the right mindset,
right,
this album will kick
They stretch
your
some
ass.
chords. They stretch some things in and out of key. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Beautiful.
Evil.
So initially I was like, I'll do Sour. That would be easy
That
to do.
actually would be funny.
Yeah. But then I realized that I might get some guff from you because I picked her as a breakout artist. So that might technically have put her on a list of mine. So I read the rules. I'm like, okay, can't do that. I thought about doing the Coltrane album just because I wanted to listen to it.
Yeah.
But then it's a live album. So
Uh-oh.
so I decided to go lighter. This is a joke.
I don't even know how I pulled that off.
So you're wearing the shirt of the album that I picked.
Really?
Yep.
Holy shit, you picked
I have
Ignota?
a pile of Hershey milk chocolate little candies right next to me, and then I have a small pile of Hershey's special dark chocolate, which I'm going to eat while I do this.
Are you going to punch me in the face for having to listen to this?
No. Maybe later. So
Too many witnesses.
I picked Lingua Ignota. Album is Sinner Get Ready.
Mm-hmm.
And oof. I literally, my notes for the longest time was just OOF. Like, so you and
I'm kind of surprised you didn't back out.
I'm stubborn. And if I pick something, I'm like, you did this. So, you and I have talked about
the social issues that's going on
yes,
with her and somebody
yeah.
else.
They were in a relationship for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Incredibly dark. She put out an impact statement that kind of outlines things. And I read through that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
You picked this album before any of those allegations were public.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine listening to that album knowing what you know now.
Oh, I have.
Well, I mean, for
Yeah.
the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
OOF is right.
I didn't know the specifics of what was going on outside of the music.
Yeah.
So I just put this on casually. I had no idea what it was going to be. I just had it playing as I was doing stuff around the house. I'm like, what in the fuck?
Cleaning music.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was cleaning. And I'm like,
You dumb idiot.
don't do that if you're going to listen to this album out there. The only things, and I'm not even going to talk about the music because you have to experience it. There's no way I could do it justice with a quick fire. It is beautiful and horrifying
Yes.
at the same time. It reminds me of the feeling I had leaving the theater after watching Schindler's List,
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I was like, that was a beautifully done piece of film that I never want to see again.
Yeah.
And I had a similar feeling, except with visual media, filmmaking and stories, you're able to anchor those feelings to something else. You have like a visual representation to anchor them on. With this music, it's just out in the ether. And so the emotions you experience are sort of yours. And having to go through that and not having something to sort of compartmentalize it with was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Um,
I bet. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, it would have been really easy to be like, fuck this and turn it off. But
And go listen to Sour.
Yeah, exactly. Which would have sounded awfully sweet compared to this.
All of them
Dad
dad
jokes.
vibes.
I had to lighten it up a little bit. Come
Dad
on.
vibes.
So I watched and listened to her interview with the Needle Drop guy, Anthony Fantano.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the other movie that it reminded me of thematically, not in terms of story, but just the way it made me feel. Have you ever seen Valhalla Rising?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
Jesus.
Nothing,
No, I know exactly. what you're
nothing
saying.
about the context of the material, just the feelings I experienced. But once again, I had nothing to,
Dirty sadness.
but poignant and thought-provoking. And like I said, it would have been really easy just to dismiss it and be like, fuck this.
Well,
But
it's been a long time since somebody came out with an 1800s German Baptist album.
Right.
It's been a while.
it has been the most challenging thing I've listened to in 100 episodes, 99 episodes, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
All right. Next up, A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. Have fun.
I'm gonna eat this dark chocolate and sit
Feel
back
better
and
about yourself.
think about myself a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you listened to it. Well, am I? I feel bad now. Rachel, what'd you pick?
The same thing.
Oh,
You picked Lingua Ignota?
Yes.
Why?
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Here's why. Because I remember you loving it so much. And I remember you saying you didn't know what to think of it last year.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God, I feel so fucking bad now.
it's okay. It falls in that category in my brain of like, is it art or is it noise?
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on that it sounds like Hell's theme music more than anything that I've ever listened to before.
We talked about Black Midi being like the soundtrack to Hell, but
Yeah.
there's the 30s Funhouse version of Hell.
Yeah.
You know, like where there's big band and shit. This is like
This is
actual.
This is actual.
Deep, raw,
you are
emotional
in
hell.
Yeah, like you are
Yes.
in the 7th stage. You're welcome.
Oh, shared
Yeah.
adversity. Cheers.
And I completely forgot about all of the allegations and everything, which I'm kind of glad because I think that would have added.
I'll tell you
onto
what,
it.
I'm glad for you as well.
Yeah.
As far as it making good cleaning music, I hadn't heard it before. And so I was like, oh, that's right. David asked us to listen to this. So I put it on in the car as I'm driving to go get my kid from the YMCA. And I was like, nope, this can't be playing. When he gets in the car, this cannot be playing.
Did you like it at all?
I did. I really liked the churchy Catholic vibes to it.
Yeah.
But then that mixed in with the sounds of hell.
Yeah.
Like it was
Well, it
so much like performance art. It kind of felt like where it was like you go to a museum and somebody screams at you and that's their art.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
it's like pure catharsis. It's
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, shit.
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You're wearing the
jerk.
shirt.
See, I told you it was more appropriate than you knew.
I thought it was more appropriate than you knew, but now it's what I knew. Now I know.
I was right.
You know. Oh wow. Well, I need to I need to wrap my head around some shit. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
But my sacrifice is not extravagant. All I have is yours, and I swear I can't do it again. I swear to you, Lord, he has to die.
I literally put it on while I was in the shower. I'm like, I still feel dirty. I can't get clean.
Disassociate and say, so artist is a piece of shit, but here's the album. Like we're gonna end up probably doing with Kanye in a few years.
Yeah.
Who?
Yee. Sorry.
Who?
Hitler Jr.
He did a lot of good things.
How do we have a black Hitler?
So confusing.
It hurts my brain.
You
You're
know what
not
it reminds
wrong.
you of? The Chappelle show, the black white
Yes.
supremacist.
Yes.
We have an actual black white supremacist.
We actually.
Oh God.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave Chappelle.
You guys are. I might have to edit this game out. You did so bad.
I mean,
Well, it took me one round to figure out what year.
I thought once you guys did really good on this year.
Yeah.
can we start over?
Let's go over Sven's favorite songs of 2021.
Let's do it.
Let's talk
Yay.
about him. Sven, let's talk about your 5th favorite song of 2021, Disqualified.
We can't.
How much did you like that song?
I love it.
So, I'm assuming you want to revise your top 5.
I do have to pick something.
Driver's license.
Hold on. No, it's not good. Not what Michael Bublé just did.
Fuck that guy.
God damn.
Driver's License, the
I'm-
Bublé version.
I am not a woman. I'm a god.
Oh, the Halsey.
yeah.
Halsey.
Oof, that album was so fucking
That
good.
sounds like a Florence and the Machine song.
Kind of does.
Kinda.
Sven, tell us about your other top 5s. Tell us what you had. Tell us what you might have changed, might not have.
Now that I added Halsey to the list and I'm looking at the whole list, I don't think Halsey
gonna-
would be at number 5.
I figured
Yeah.
you'd move it up.
I think that I would have put Peaches by Justin Bieber at 5.
But you'd still have it on your list?
I'd still have Peaches on my list
Justin Bieber?
because I get him out of Georgia.
Just giving you a chance.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Would you like to phone a friend?
Peaches. Come on, why you gotta hate on the Biebs? So yeah, I'd start off with Peaches and then probably same boat, Zach Brown Band, then Halsey. And
Interesting.
I know, I'll admit, I'm crazy for having You Should Be Dancing.
You're keeping that?
I'm keeping it on the list.
It's not. You know what bugs me about that? It's the exact. There's no difference from the original version.
Are you kidding me? The transients and the drum tracks pop way more than they did back in the original.
I guess I'm more talking about like the high voice disco-y. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
They didn't try to do anything
They
original
didn't do
with
their
it.
own spin on it.
It was literally just the Foo Fighters band members playing
Playing the Bee
the
Gees.
the beat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I like cheesy, campy shit like that. I think we all know that.
Also, you said something in the finale last year that resonated with me pretty well in that, because the whole year I didn't get it. You loved the new Foo Fighters and you loved like the DGs, and I didn't get it. And then you're like, you know what I didn't want this year? I didn't want somebody's fucking story. I didn't want something complicated. I wanted a fucking dance album.
Yeah.
And the Foo Fighters gave me a dance album.
2 dance albums.
And when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense.
Sometimes yeah, we don't need to revisit that because I'm sticking with that statement too. And then of course making a fire.
Nah.
Like I'm not moving that either.
All right. So not a big.
Not
I like
a lot
it.
of change.
Add Halsey in the middle, and
yeah,
Bob's your uncle. Rachel,
David,
how's your list? What's your list?
you're really judgmental right now.
I love you.
Number 5, I have Industry Baby by my friend Lil Nas.
Little Nas X.
Lil.
Oh,
There's no T.
but I'm white.
Fair.
I'm not allowed to say Lil. It's Little Wayne.
Edit that
People
out.
did not like the sound of that at all. Sorry, go ahead.
5, Lil Nas X, Industry Baby. Number 4, Money by Lisa. 3, Good For You, Alleviator. Alcohol. Good For You, Olivia Rodrigo. Number 2, Transparent Soul, Willow Smith. Number 1, Good Wife by Casey Musgraves.
Do you regret? That's a stupid way to put it. Do you
Regret.
Would you want it? Or did you change anything after going back and listening?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Same order.
These are favorites. These are not best by any means. I might switch up the order a little bit. I feel like I like Willow Smith maybe a little bit less, but I still think that song was a good breakout song for her. Yeah, no, I feel good about these choices.
Okay. No change necessary.
Let me live my life.
I respect the stubbornness.
Thank you.
So my top 5 last year was number 5, Lines Alone by the Gamasenin. Number 4, Running and Walking by Modest Mouse. Number 3, The Wellermen. Number 2, Either You Want It by Royal Blood. And number 1, Tequila Shots by Kid Cudi. Only one of these stayed the same.
Oh.
Did you change anything, or did you just reshuffle the order?
There are 3 different songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got rid of Lines Alone by the Gamasenin. It's a great song. I just think it's better as an album cohesively. The whole album, the Gamasenin album, it's a great album. But I removed that because I had to make room for, we did a quickfire, and on a quickfire we had an album that I was not a big fan of, and it has grown on me greatly, especially the hit song from it, which is Brighton by Jerry Cantrell.
Oh, yeah.
That song is fantastic. I don't know why it took me so long to warm up to it, but I fucking love it, and that's my number 5. What the hell was that?
Sorry.
No, you're good. Number 4 is my biggest what the fuck of this. I had Running and Walking by Modest Mouse. It didn't deserve to be on this list. And looking back, I'm really glad that I get to revise this. So my number 4 now is The Wellerman. I still love it. Still an amazing song. Just moved up to number 4 because number 3 is a brand new song.
Ooh.
And it might be all Rachel's fault because,
Yay.
and Evil, I'm so sorry, but the song In Another Life by The Killers.
Rolls eyes.
I know. So Evil is such a supremely positive, you are who you are, be proud of it kind of guy. But for those of us that are not invincible human beings, we have thoughts of self-doubt every now and then. And In Another Life, I hadn't processed it. And then one day, I think I was just driving home from work or something. The lyrics hit me. It's kind of a story of a person wondering, they've been in their hometown their whole life. They're married. They're wondering, like, am I in love with my person because they were the person, or is it because they were there? Or, do I have a good life, or did I just... there are 2 ways to look at a life where you just stayed doing the same thing and you worked hard and you paved the way for your kids. You did what you needed to do. That is a very good life. It's a very honorable life. But at times you can look at that inside that life and say, my life is not what I wanted it to be. And this song, I'm doing a horrible job at expressing what this song expresses incredibly well. So it is my number 3. My number 2 was Either You Want It by Royal Blood. Same band, different song. The real great song from that album is Boilermaker. And as much as I love Either You Want It, Boilermaker is a song of the ages. It's one of the best rock songs of the last decade.
Yep.
And number 1 is still the same. It's Kid Cudi's Tequila Shots. I love it. I love it to death. And that's my new top 5.
Good job.
Evil. Dad Vibes McGee.
So my top 5. Number 5 was the Limp Bizkit's Dad Vibes. Number 4 was Ghosts Hunter's Moon. Number 3, Cynics in a Multiverse Where Atoms Sing. Number 2, As I Lie Dying's Roots Below. And
Faulkner.
I love that book.
number 1 was The Pretty Reckless's Only Love Can Save Me Now.
Yay.
So it was interesting seeing this list. I'm not going to change anything because I purposefully, I could very easily have just filled my top 5 with Royal Blood and Gojira songs last year. I mean, and I purposefully picked songs that weren't from albums on my top 5 albums list.
Yeah.
Deliberate choice. And I'm not going to muck with that. There would be too much music math going on there to kind of figure out what a new top 5, like the actual top 5 would be. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to leave Dad Vibes on there because it annoys everybody and I like that. Hunter's Moon.
Ooh, that's a good question. Would you replace Hunter's Moon with any other song on that album?
That's a
Strong, maybe.
Possibly.
Spillways?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you know what, though? That wasn't 2021.
exactly.
They'd
It
only
wasn't
had the
out
single.
yet. Yeah. So no, save that one. I'm going to skip over 3 and 2 really quickly and say that the Pretty Rex, that song is still my number 1. That's still
Yeah.
Your
very,
story was too good to
it's-
change it.
yeah. That's a very
reasoning or
meaningful song for me. The other 2, so Cynic and As I Lay Dying are interesting stories because those are 2 bands that they've been like perennial favorites for me, but I have had a hard time going back and listening to those albums.
Because didn't one of them try to kill his wife?
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start. Neither of these stories is super positive. So I'll start with number 3 with Cynic.
You recording your crotch?
Doesn't everybody?
So 2 members of Cynic passed away in 2020. And so
Damn.
leaving Paul Masvidal as the only existing original member. And he and Sean, they were on Death's album Human. I mean, these guys are like legends in metal and progressive metal. And I love Cynic and I love what they do. It's just that, I don't know, there's something about the other member, Sean Malone. So Sean Reinhart had heart complications. I don't know if it was COVID related. He had health issues previously. And then Sean Malone, their bass player, he took his life later in the year. And so I just had a hard time. Cynic has always been a very uplifting, positive musical experience for me.
That's ironic.
Yeah. And so it's been hard for me to go back and listen to this new album from them. I will at some
Without
point.
thinking of, yeah.
They're also going into some of the stuff we're going to do on YouTube. Cynic is one of the bands where music and art is super meaningful to me as well.
Okay.
So the artist on most of their albums, Robert Venosa, is one of my all-time favorite painters. And I think his wife, Martina Hoffman, he passed away as well. And his wife did the painting that is the cover for this new album. It's just weird. I haven't mourned this band yet. So
Okay. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. As I Like Dying is a different issue. They're a tremendous band. They're incredibly talented, but there's so much not dad vibes, but bad vibes around this band that it makes it.
A dad joke about dad jokes.
So
man.
their singer
Layers.
Tim Lambesis, he contracted a hitman to kill his wife years ago, went to prison, served his time, is out of prison. And I'm like, all right, everyone,
How long did he go to prison for?
a few years.
How do you go to prison for a few years for trying to kill somebody?
Trying to hire someone to kill somebody.
That's the same thing.
So it never actually happened, but he actually put a hit out on his wife. He went to jail for it, served his time, went through the legal system. And I'm like, all right, everyone deserves a second chance. However, turns out I don't know. There's weird contractual issues. Their longtime drummer is not recording or not touring with them for some reason. 2 members from Unearth have left Unearth and are now in As I Lay Dying. That alone pisses me off.
Sounds about as dark and complex as a Faulkner book.
One of their guitar players, Nick Hippa, quit. This is the positive part of the story. He's now the touring guitar player for a reformed God Forbid, one of my other favorite bands from that era. So that's a plus, I guess, out of this whole thing. Fuck, man. I don't know.
This was a very dark episode for you.
So I haven't been able to listen to that album with a clear mind either. So I'm going to leave those 2 songs on there because they're great songs. But Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
That was the best Ricky Ricardo I've ever heard in my life.
And there we go.
Guys, those are the songs. All we got left to do are the albums.
Mm-hmm.
Are any still up there? Are there some switches? Are there any regrets? Are your top five still the same? We're going right back to Evil. Before we do, in the finale at the start of episode 2, we did a drunk assessment. Where did we rank ourselves? Sven, where'd you rank yourself?
Can't remember what scale I used. That's always the problem with my rankings.
It was 1 out of 10.
Did we
Everybody
do 1 to
did
10?
1 to
Oh,
10.
okay, thank God.
12.
I think I put myself at like a 5.
You put yourself at a 5, and then we put you at a 7.
Yes.
Yes. So good job. You don't have to drink. Rachel,
I think I said 3. I could probably drive.
you said, I'm fine. I could probably legally drive.
Yeah. And then you said, boo, 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 give that girl a beer. Believe
Actually, that was him that said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you said it then.
Evil, do you remember what you said?
I was 100% a Threeve.
You said a 3.
That's
Man, you guys all remember. That's very good.
Because we weren't that drunk.
And I was a solid
Yeah.
7. And I remain a solid 7. Evil,
You mean a Svend?
I was a 7 Knutzen. 7 Knutzen. Give us your 5 albums last year and if they've changed and why.
My 5 albums were number 5, Trivium's In the Court of the Dragon. Number 4, Gojira's Fortitude. Number 3 was Bellacor's Coherence.
Yeah.
Number 2, Royal Blood's Typhoons. And number 1, Carcass's Torn Arteries, or as Rachel refers to it, left ventricle. Or
That was
deal.
me.
Oh, okay. Whatever. But it was you. Really. You thought it.
Sure, I did. I thought it. You said it.
She third thought it.
Threve.
I'm not I'm not changing the albums. I might change the order. Trivium's going to stay number 5. It is a stellar album. It's great. But Matt Heafy, he's the singer, guitar player, sort of, like lead. His project from this year, Ibaraki is the name of the project. The album is Rashomon, is so fucking brilliantly creative that it kind of, the album on my list from last year is in the shadow of this new album. So it can't move up because of that, even though it's a great album.
Okay.
Gojira is going to move up probably to number 2. After our revisiting of Typhoons and Amazonia.
Our Samesies episode.
Yeah.
Which was 3-4 episodes ago.
Yeah, just fairly recently. So this one's fresh in my mind. I fucking love this album.
Me too.
And
especially when I found out, we found out in that episode that Gojira gave a bunch of profits from the album to, I don't remember what the exact thing was, but it was to aid Amazonian Aboriginal peoples.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like $300,000
Yep.
went to it.
Nice.
Because this album is all about,
Right.
what we as a people are doing
They're
too.
very conscious of the world that we live in and trying to be harmonious humans living in that ecosystem. So good
They're
on
very
Gojira.
likable
It's
people.
fucking yeah, they're just awesome. Great musically, great people. They're moving up to number 2. Bellacor's going to drop down to 4.
Bellacore.
That album is beautiful and brilliant, but it's not an album that I'll just put on and listen to. I'd have to be in the right mood for it. It's still absolutely brilliant. I enjoy listening to it again. I hadn't listened to it since getting ready for this finale last year. So that was fun to go back to. But with some distance between last year's finale and listening to it again, I kind of realized, yes, it's brilliant. It's staying on the list, but it's going to drop down a little bit. Royal Blood's going to drop to 3. Barely.
I get it.
Had to make room for Gojira.
Yeah. And that's really it, is Gojira just, those two are both so good.
Yeah.
Like I said, my top 5 songs, legitimate top 5 songs, would probably all be from those two albums.
Yeah.
And that left ventricle.
Left ventricle.
Now, Carcass's Torn Arteries is still number 1. That album's fucking brilliant. I love that old school death metal so much.
I haven't listened to it, but I did go through and read about it a little bit. That thing got massively good reviews.
It's so good. You have to be into that kind of music. It is. Carcass is one of the legends in melodic death metal, and that album's legit. Absolutely legit.
So a bit of mix and matching for Evil, but overall, same top 5.
Yep.
I will go next. My top 5 last year was number 5, Sinner Get Ready by Lingua Ignota. Number 4, Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Number 3, Fortitude by Gojira. Number 2, Typhoons by Royal Blood. And number 1, that's mixed up. Jesus, David. My number 3 was Typhoons by Royal Blood. My number 2 was Gojira's Fortitude. And my number 1 was As the Love Continues by Mogwai.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up keeping those 5 albums. There was one very quick contender from an album that I had never even heard until this year. Have any of you heard of the band Turnstile?
Yeah.
They did an album last year called Glow On
Mm-hmm.
that I hadn't heard until this year. It's fucking awesome. I didn't spend enough time with it, but it might, if we did a revisit on this in a couple years, it might be on my top 5 instead. So I just wanted to shout out that album because it's really good. My order has changed. My number 5, it feels weird putting this all the way down, but then as I look on my list, I guess it makes sense. My number 5 is Typhoons by Royal Blood.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get it. It really is pop music at the end of
It's
the day.
easy listening.
Pop music never ages well, although this is aging incredibly well for pop
Yeah.
music. And so when I listened to that album, it was for like springtime. It was like the soundtrack to spring and early summer for me.
Yeah.
And it will be. I'll put that on in spring and early summer 2023 and I'll fucking love it.
And it'll be a jam.
Yep.
Yeah, but
so
it's
it
not,
makes sense. I get where you're at there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something that you're gonna.
I'm glad you came around on Boilermaker though. Jesus, that was
song's
the best
amazing.
song last year.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was. My number 4 is now
You okay, buddy?
Guys Evil just died.
Wow. We broke evil.
It's all over your face.
That's what she said.
Love that he stopped dying for a minute
Whiskey
to
in
give
my
a
eyes.
TWSS.
I coughed as I was taking a drink of whiskey.
I saw it.
Oh.
Okay.
I was a little worried because I caught it. I thought it went through your sinuses. I was like, oh, he's gonna be dead.
Good thing I have contacts on. Oh.
Holy.
Evil just maced himself. God. Anyway, my number 4 to go along with the samesies is Fortitude by Gojira. So I did bump this one up as well, or bump it down. I do love it for all the reasons that we've talked about on this podcast. It is my number 4. My number 3 is now As the Love Continues by Mogwai.
Ooh.
Everybody's just sliding down.
I know. I still love this album. I love this album. But I will tell you why my top 2 are what they are. My number 2 is now Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator.
Wow.
We went through a lot of rap this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. We went through a lot of really good rap this year.
Mm-hmm.
And going through the finale and looking at our top 10 albums and going through the rap, I don't think I like anything that came out this year as much as Call Me If You Get Lost.
Really?
I think Call Me If You Get Lost is my favorite rap album in so long. And
Wow.
listening
What
to all
about
the good
Damn?
rap this year.
Better
Well,
than
Damn's
Damn?
older.
But better.
No,
last 5
not
years.
better than Damn.
Okay.
No.
That's what I was.
It's like Damn, Kids See Ghosts, Call Me If You Get Lost.
Mm.
It's a brilliant album. I love it. And because of all that good rap, and I was like, man, I like this album more than any of them. So I bumped it up to 2.
Damn. Right.
And my number 1,
No way.
Sinner Get Ready by Lingua Ignota.
You're a crazy person.
I can't remember the last time that an album hit me so hard that I will literally wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I have to listen to a specific song like right now. I completely agree with everything that they have said, that it is such a hard listen, but I almost feel like you're rewarded for going through it because it's so insanely powerful and beautiful, and it's so hard to make music this powerful, and it's so powerful. The song where she's confess now, repent now, or whatever,
Yeah.
where she's literally like screaming to God, I've given my life to you, and this man did this to me, kill him. She is screaming. I've never heard anything like that, and I don't think I ever will again. I think this album is one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life in an artistic way. And that's my number
God
1.
damn you. See, I was going to totally avoid ever listening, ever. And now I feel like I fucking have to.
Can't be the
At
only
least
one
once.
Shared adversity.
Rachel,
that didn't. David.
before we get to you,
Mm-hmm.
That sounded like Ant Twins.
and twin last year, a writer and her questioner, it was Other Mark actually,
Oh.
asked us to rank our alcoholism from least to most.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember what we did?
It's the same. Sven, all of the alcohol, right?
Full of the alcohol.
Most of the alcohol.
His rating is alcohol.
David,
Yes.
next most alcohol, then evil, then me.
We actually quit. We didn't answer. It started to get dark. So we're like, this is weird. We're not gonna answer this.
Oh,
we got to Sven being like, I drank like so many beers for every night, and we're like, anyway, next question.
sorry.
No, it was funny. Guess you had to be there. Rachel,
David.
you picked 5 favorite albums last year.
I did.
What were they, and do you still love them to death?
I picked for number 5, Sour by Olivia Rodrigo.
You did.
Number 4, Jesus Christ, David. Number 4, I picked If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power by Halsey. Number 3 was Bo Burnham's Inside. Number 2 is Pressure Machine by The Killers. And number 1 was Casey Musgraves' Star-Crossed. So,
What now?
Star-Crossed. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
I'm going to rearrange a couple things, actually.
Uh-oh.
Editing on the fly. Is that allowed?
Shh, David doesn't have to know.
If you whisper.
He can't hear you.
Can't hear us.
I'm just going to skip
That's what he
that.
gets for-
I just feel like he would be mad.
When he edits this, he will be
He can
mad.
fucking deal with it. Okay, so I did rearrange a few things.
I think I just watched you rearrange my list. Maybe
Your
I
list
like
was
it better.
stupid and I changed it. I switched up. I did replace one altogether.
We haven't even had one of these yet. I'm excited.
Yeah. I just took it off because there was something.
Did you shake it off?
That was a couple years ago. I moved Bo to number 5.
Thank you.
I know that David, you think that album is ridiculous that it
No,
was
I
even
actually
on.
I haven't even listened to it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you thought it was ridiculous that I had it on my list.
No, maybe I was just being an asshole, but no, I don't have a problem
weird.
with your list.
Never.
Maybe.
Outside of character.
Except for your number 1. Keep going.
JK, you're not excited for my number 1? Okay, so I moved Bo to number 5 because I still think it was very poignant for the time. It came right after COVID and it was just really dark but appropriate.
That's a good point. That you want albums that remind you of what was going on that year.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
We
that
were
would
inside a
definitely be-
lot.
Casey, I moved to number 4 from
Oh
number 1.
My.
Ooh.
She got far down. I think it's because I saw her perform and I was like, meh. But the album
She just David Crosby,
still
Casey Musgraves.
really good. I love Casey Musgraves. I feel like I saw so many good performances at ACL and hers was like fine that I was a
Would you
little
say
disappointed.
meh?
Number 3, Halsey. Still.
Wait, wasn't she at number 4?
She was at 4.
She was at 4. Just kidding. She moved to 3. I rearranged the numbers in a
Pulled
not
a deal.
numerical
Yeah, I did the same thing.
way. So Halsey's at number 3. Number 2, Tyler the Creator.
Whoa.
Because I'm a dumb idiot for not putting that on my top 5. That album was fabulous.
Right?
So sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, everyone.
I love that. That makes me happy.
Now I'm
Number
gonna have to go
1.
listen to that one again.
It's so good.
Fucking Corso, the first song on
Didn't
that.
get
It's
it,
just, man.
Mm-hmm. Number 1.
I feel like we need a drum roll.
Pressure Machine by The
You
Killers.
guys hate me.
We just like good music.
Do you?
I don't like the album. I don't hate the album. I don't love the album, but I do love that song. But anyway, sorry.
That's it.
I'll
That's
quit.
the end. That was the end of it.
Just same but more of
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly. Again, these are favorites. They're not best.
Mhm.
Although I do think
Well,
that
you did have to dive into it more this year because we did an episode on it.
Yeah, I really did. And
Stockholm syndrome.
there is a lot. Yeah, with exposure, you just fall more
she
in
gets
love.
that bad.
What?
You're good at that.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Your shirt.
you giving me Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, no. So I feel like confident. I think I did a good job.
Way to go. Proud
job.
of you.
Sven.
Sven.
That's me.
Before we get to this,
That was a weird face.
we have a question, and I think everybody's going to get this one right.
Hey.
According to the finale, where does Sven get his weed?
What's his name? I'm just kidding.
California?
No.
Georgia.
Really?
From plants.
That's where your
France.
peaches.
Fucking Ontario.
Ontario.
Golly, you guys all have to drink.
No.
Wait, is
Um,
that a real question?
Yes.
You said that last year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was talking about Bieber,
Apparently-
and he was like,
Apparently,
I, get
I
my
was a
peaches
number
from-
7 drunk
Yeah.
and don't remember that saying. I'm not responsible for what the alcohol says out of my mouth.
There you go.
Wow, I should be though.
What was your list and what is it now, Sven?
My list at number 5, A Love Supreme, the John Coltrane.
Yeah.
And then As the Love Continues, I kind of was like on a love theme for the first couple. That was the Mogwai. The Comeback, Zach Brown Band, Sour, Olivia Rodrigo, and Medicine at Midnight, Foo Fighters. I can't believe that I'm gonna really say this out loud,
Uh-oh.
but I'm bumping the Foo Fighters down, not off, but down.
You ass.
They are losing their number 1 spot to Sour.
What?
What? This is favorite, not best. It's favorite, not best.
Yeah, favorite, not best.
Foo Fighters.
That doesn't make it less
The Foo
weird.
Fighters.
Well, I started listening to Medicine at Midnight. I was so in love with that album
You really
at that
were.
time. Like, it was everything. And I still love the Foo Fighters, and I still think it's a great album. But I love so many other Foo Fighters albums more, I think. Maybe not so many, but it's not my... Yeah. They are actually at number 2. Sour's at number 1. And the rest of my list... Oh, no. John Coltrane swapped to number 3, and then it's Zach Brown at 4 and Mogwai at 5.
You just scooted things around.
I
Yeah.
did just scoot things around.
So the only
No drastic
change...
changes.
Shuffling.
The most
was
drastic thing was I
Olivia.
can't believe I bumped or
Yeah,
That's okay.
the Foo Fighters down.
You bumped Mr. Grohl.
They're
Poor
now
guy.
2 Fighters.
That is our... We,
That was good.
we have revisited and revised last year. They're not a lot of switching around, but not a lot of complete changes. I think the big lessons here are that Lingua Ignota will haunt you in your dreams and in your nightmares. Sorry. And everybody should go listen to fucking Call Me If You Get Lost.
Also, that is Latin for unknown language,
That sounds right.
Yeah.
which I think is poignant.
No
Lingua
Unknown
Ignota
language?
is Latin for unknown language.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
she
album.
is an artist.
She is an
boy,
artist.
oof.
Sven, do you have a best and or worst take of your own from last year?
I feel like I cringe every time I hear myself on any episode.
My voice
I just-
is my worst
yeah,
take.
kind of like
My
it's-
voice is my worst take.
It's hard to. I don't
That's
know.
silly.
I don't really have one specific one though. I just like a lot of times I just wish I said things differently. Not that I am not saying what I feel. I don't want to change what I say, but I feel like I say things in ways that when I listen to them back, I'm like, okay, I could totally take this out of context and it would not be what I'm trying to convey.
I think you're pretty good at it, but you know, the
That's
alcohol.
what she said.
That, yep.
Sorry, I needed one in there.
So I do have our first episode ever. I did not give Talking Book a 10 out of 10. That's a huge regret of mine because Talking Book is a 10 out of 10 album. And it's really stupid that I didn't give it a 10 out of 10. And then my best take was I called Amy Winehouse a Sarah Vaughan in a sea of Katy Perry's. And I was listening back. I was like, that's
That's good.
really smart of me to say that.
Yeah.
Evil, do you have a best and or worst take?
I have a
from last
worst
year?
take. Do I have a best take? I should lead with a best take, but
All my takes are the best
I
take.
don't know about best take. My worst take, and I like do the Dumb and Dumber like head smack. Like every time I remember this, I'm like, oh, you fucking moron. At one point, I was talking about us as a group and our perspective on music. And I said, we're just a bunch of white people from Idaho. And you, both of you, like at the same time, are like, what about Sven? And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So that
Whatever,
is
Sven
the
works here.
worst take ever.
That's also maybe an editing. Maybe I thought it was so funny that I left it in, but that's a cynical type of thinking. It's funny. Maybe I need to be better about editing.
No, that's a bad take. And you guys were right for calling me out on that. And I apologize to you for that because
I appreciate the apology, but it was not needed.
that was dumb.
I'm not
That was-
offended.
One
dumb
of
thing.
us.
Yes.
One of us.
I mean, you're like half right.
Yeah.
See?
Rachel, do you have a best and or worst take that you feel from last year?
I think I could have been nicer about Unearthed.
Oh, Under Oath.
Under Oath. I could have been
Yeah,
nicer
you
about
could have gotten the name right at least.
Oh, shit.
Man,
All right. Well, this
keep
will be on for
digging.
next year then.
No.
Dumb idiot.
My worst take was when I was trying to do my worst take.
when I was trying to fix my worst take, and then
being
So what?
nice.
No, expand on that. What do you mean?
I just think that, I mean, we did the whole discography. We ripped them apart. I ripped them apart as a band. And I feel like I could have been nicer. I could have given it a little bit more thought and maybe in that way.
Well, it makes you feel any better when I think back to that experience. I don't think of you being negative at all. So I kind of thought of that as just kind of teeing her up and letting her go on the albums. I think we were impeccable. That's Revisit and Revise. Not too much change. We're pretty proud of who we are, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd take
Or
it
we're
that
just
far.
stubborn.
Mm,
Accurate.
yeah.
Any final
Old
thoughts? Or are
people.
we good? Or is that the good final thought? We are stubborn. Hear us roar. Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. Is that the episode title?
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear.
I actually stopped doing, you can only do episode titles when you're super, super popular and you already have a kabillion followers. Until then, you actually have to title it the albums and the artists so that people will search. When people search Beatles,
Sure.
they find it's kind of a bummer because I really like titling episodes.
Wait, did Penis Fingers?
like-
That was the title, though.
Yeah,
of
we
that
did.
one.
Well, that was before I
People
wised
Google that
up.
all the time.
VerseCourseVerse.com at VerseCourseVersePod. Everybody, episode 99 is in the books. We've got a few more and we're done for the year.
Yay.
Rachel, it's been a blast hanging out with you in person.
Thanks.
Spend, it's been a blast watching you come back to life after this morning.
Resurrected.
Evil, I really wish I would have recorded you listening to Lingua Ignota today
God,
if I had
man.
known you were listening to that. Everybody, VerseCourseVerse.com at VerseCourseVersePod. We love you. Please come back for the 100th episode next.
Woo.
We did it.
100.
I know.
That's a lot.
Good night and good luck.